girls.
Girls.
That's all I really want is
women.
I'm Lizzie Frizzle. Let's talk about girls.
I'm sorry, that's rude. That's disrespectful. Be considerate.
Show, don't tell is a pretty cliched thing to bring up when you're talking about storytelling, but it comes up so often because it's the best way to tell a story. In this episode of Farmer Wants a Wife, the editors refused to show us anything, and the farmers did their best to help them. Season 4, Episode 4 is called A Kiss Changes Everything, but there were 4 kisses, and none of them changed anything. Braden and Brett both kissed women they'd already named as frontrunners.
I've got 3 that are, in the front running, and I got Brittany, man.
And Sean kissed the same woman twice, who he'd also already named as a frontrunner.
One girl that comes to mind is Emily.
At the top of the episode, the dance is still underway, which in itself was an after party for the horse race the cast attended first. This season is only going to have 8 episodes, and we spent a big chunk of 2 of them at this one event. If a tractor hadn't inexplicably reversed through the background of a shot last time, almost 45 minutes would have gone by between both episodes without anything farm-related appearing on screen, unless you count everyone's cowboy hats. And I don't. When Farmer Sean's contestants confront him after he lied about inviting a new woman, Rihanna, to join their group, his cowboy hat is on her head. I thought that level of flirtiness would be enough to turn his angriest contestant, Macy, into a big snake's jaw, fully unhinged. But instead, with great effort, Sean masterfully diffuses the situation.
All right, time to grab a partner and get on up here.
You gonna dance? Maybe that'll change your mind.
Yeah, it will.
Sean may have danced with Macy to get her to get over being mad at him, but he takes Emily on a private walk around the racetrack to personally apologize for misleading her about Rihanna. The scene ends with the first of those 4 kisses, and with me pretty convinced that Emily's going to win, because Sean didn't care about checking in with any of his other contestants like this. After Emily, the woman who he spends the most time with is Allie Beth, and it's to eliminate her. Despite an energetic start,
Saddle up, we're going to Cali, baby! Woo!
Allie Beth's been on borrowed time and had the screen time of someone who's been since the 2nd episode, when her storyline shifted from being one of several women with a southern accent their farmer thinks is cute to being too nervous to speak to him.
Overall, I just want to chat with you, kind of get in some deeper subjects. So anything specifically you want to discuss? Anything on your mind, or?
I'm sorry, you're
Gitsy.
Super nervous. Yeah.
It was kind of an awkward combo, so if she isn't able to get over her nerves, I don't know how this could work.
I maintain that getting a little gitsy isn't nearly as awkward as pulling someone aside to tell them that you want to have deeper talks with them, then asking what they want to talk about. News of Allie Beth's elimination devastates Sean's other contestants, but they warned him it would.
We might be a little depressed. We might have to go home with whoever you eliminate. I think I'll lose all of us.
Like the ducks that she hunts, Allie Beth could sense that her end was coming.
You have been pretty quiet through this whole process, and I know that's something you struggle with.
Okay. We're just getting to.
I could tell that she was about to be eliminated too, because going into their conversation, Sean told the camera,
But I just don't want to leave these girls on.
let's see what happens when a scene between Farmer Brett and Cassie begins the same way.
If I don't have that gut feeling towards someone that I think I should, then I don't want to lead anybody on. In a different scenario, could be completely different. But as a saying is, it is what it is.
Yeah. 0 hard feelings.
Oh, the same thing happened. In part, Brett blames his need to cut Cassie on Sophia's arrival.
How am I going to navigate 5 women?
But that's the same number he started with. He should be figuring out how to handle 6 women. But earlier, Heather quit off camera, even though it was filmed. She's not into Brett, and the feeling is mutual, which could be why she's not into Brett. Though footage of their final conversation briefly makes it into the episode, host Kim Williams-Paisley narrates over it. Thank goodness, Heather already had a huge following online from her Bachelor appearances. Getting this little screen time would probably be a big blow for a lot of the other contestants. At the end of the dance, the farmers pick people for their next solo dates. But somehow, even with 3 rapid-fire eliminations, there still isn't time to tell an engaging story with narrative tension. One woman from each farmer's group is way more heavily featured than all the others, and then she's picked for the next solo date. Brett chooses Hannah, Braden picks Brittany, and Sean invites Emily, irritating his contestants all over again. They're mad at the two of them for kissing at the racetrack where everyone could see it happening, instead of at the secret one.
Who makes out with someone right in front of, your other girlfriends?
Does she even like Sean? While the groups return to the farms, Brett drives Hannah to a town in Mississippi where he spent tons of time as a kid because a lot of his family lives there. And for their solo date, he takes her clothes shopping. At the store, Brett surprises Hannah with a flight of beige sweaters for her to try on. Then he buys her something neon pink. After, they get ice cream and are mostly successful at hiding their kiss from the cameras. Back on the farm, Hannah tells the other women that she's never laughed harder than on her date with Brett. Was that it? Not everyone's laughing, though. In Tennessee, Stephanie struggles with the dating show dynamic as she and the rest of Brett's contestants attempt to chop firewood.
Take your shirt off.
No. Well, it would help if you took the leg cover off.
This scene is meant to count as the farm work for the episode. Really, it's just a normal chore that happens to take place outside, like when Brett's group raked leaves a few weeks ago. But if you can believe it, that's not what Stephanie is upset about.
I want to be pursued. I just feel like that's not gonna happen.
And why shouldn't she expect to be pursued on a dating show where she's one of 9 women,
Which is the first time ever that we've done that on this show.
all trying to win over the same guy? Another problem is that Stephanie's expectations aren't just unrealistic because she's on a dating show. They're also out of the 1930s.
I think my mother told my dad 20 times, no, I'm not going on a date with you. But he kept pursuing her.
Okay, so that's a little toxic, right?
What would that even look like while you're on a dating show? Stephanie threatens to quit a bunch of times and Brett stops her? Is that what she was trying to do here? If it was, it didn't work. Stephanie leaves the farm, leaving Brett with just 3 contestants. At the top of the episode, he had 6. Maybe Brett would have fought to keep Stephanie around if she'd more aggressively promoted his businesses. Last episode, when Brett wore this hat, I thought nothing of it. But in this episode, when all of his contestants were also wearing it, I had a lot of thoughts. The main one being, I wonder if this is to promote his protein bar company or his tequila company. It's the tequila. In Illinois, Brittany gets dolled up for her date with Farmer Braden. It's jeans and a black shirt. Braden brings Brittany to the same orchard that he went to as a kid. They learn to make apple cider and sit really close together on a bench in case anyone else also wanted to sit down. Here, cuddled up, Brittany whispers sweet nothings into Braden's ear.
Is long distance something that you could do?
Well, Brittany, you've managed to come off even more delusional than Stephanie did. How do you feel?
It threw me off, to say the least.
The reason Brittany wants to date long distance is because she needs to be in a city for her career.
I'm an advanced esthetician.
But Homer, Illinois, Braden's town, is only a half hour from Champaign. It's not as big as Salt Lake City, where Brittany lives, but there's a major university there and 100,000 people. Some of them are going to want dermaplaning. For now, Braden doesn't care that Brittany is deeply unserious because he doesn't get the chance to kiss a lot of women. He tries to block the camera's view, but being in an open field, it just moves. At the end of their date, even though Brittany doesn't want to live on his farm, Braden decides that
Brittany's checking a lot of boxes.
Can someone teach this guy some new phrases?
Just y'all are checking a lot of boxes. I'm in trouble. I'm truly just in big trouble.
But just like in Tennessee, though Braden's date goes well, the situation with his contestants back on his farm goes wrong.
All he wanted to talk about was the dynamic in the house. Who is saying this?
He asked me about it. And I said, where I was coming from is just like seeing different sides of you. I did say, I was like, I think she's a good heart, and I think you've seen that, and I think she has good intentions, but this is just my point of view.
And I said there was just tension.
And now, DVR Czar presents What Actually Happened.
Any concerns? You can tell me anything.
Watch out for like Carson's character. We just like question her, like her intentions.
There have been some things said in the house with Carson. The way she's acted is different behind closed doors than to you. And I hate talking about people.
The next morning, with snow on the ground and shorts on her legs, Carson approaches Braden to talk.
My entire life, I feel like I've been beating allegations and things said about me, especially in the pageant world. It got to the point that, I had to move states. I just wanted to come talk to you about some things. I have spent the majority of my life beating allegations. This is something that I've always struggled with.
I don't want to see you go, but I also don't want to hold you back.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Last episode, when Stephanie told Braden's other contestants to let him realize that Carson is fake on his own,
I think the hardest part about that is sometimes you gotta let them figure it out.
I thought that was going to be what happened. That Brittany and Casey would drop it, Carson would captivate Braden until around the final 3, when he'd either suddenly realize that she wasn't genuine, or she'd realize that he wasn't going to realize and quit like Joy did in season 2. And then he'd realize. I was excited to praise the editor's foreshadowing, but then Carson's arc ended up being one of the worst edited storylines I've ever seen. No real explanation about why Brittany and Casey were so wary of her, no understanding of how Cameron felt or Skylar, and no follow-ups about what do you mean you had to move to a new state because of pageantry allegations. That's not the kind of thing you can casually mention without elaborating. But so much of Braden and Carson's talk is edited out, it's not even a conversation anymore. It's just a convo. Was Carson genuinely traumatized by the other women's distrust? Did they make up lies about her in order to secure more closet space for themselves?
Y'all can put your stuff in here.
Oh, that's perfect. Carson, you made yourself at home. I see you said stir.
Or had Carson been bad-mouthing Braden off camera? By quitting, was she trying to avoid what she realized would probably be a villain edit? Was she just unprepared for the weather? Or could it be that Carson was unprepared for the entire reality of Braden's reality and happily took a chance to leave even though she insisted that she missed living in the country?
2.5 years ago, I moved out to Austin, Texas. So I live there now.
Yeah.
Definitely not a big city girl looking to get back to the country.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm used to. Like within 10 minutes, I'm in a city. And here it's like 10 minutes, you're still passing the same cornfield.
That doesn't sound like the country. With Carson's exit, 5 women were eliminated this episode, almost a third of everyone who was left. And Brittany said she'd only do long distance, so that's not great either. After Braden and Brett's solo dates revolved around places that were important to their childhoods, Farmer Sean takes Emily to a vineyard. But that was probably fine with her.
I thought we were gonna go have wine.
Though the California scenery is beautiful and Emily suspiciously says exactly what Sean wants to hear,
I feel like I was born to be a wife and a mother.
Sean still feels preoccupied because earlier that day, Olivia warned him that Emily is strategic.
And I don't know exactly what that means.
Neither does Emily when he asks her about it.
I'm just not sure what the strategy is in that, other than I was interested in you, and my strategy is get to know you, to know whether or not I want to date you.
Or is she just being strategic? See, Carson, that's how you react to allegations. And this is how you make sure they don't come up again. A balcony kiss that's also pretty successfully blocked from the cameras. A point for Sean, a point for Brett, and none for Braden. Up on the balcony, Sean puts a second cowboy hat on a woman's head, though this one was originally on her head to begin with. Then he breaks out another of his signature moves.
This girl really could be my future wife. This girl really could be my future wife. I think she could be the one.
Which woman will Sean name as his next potential future wife? Probably Carson.
I didn't even know that we had chemistry like that.
We'll find out next week on another Farmer Wants a Wife recap. Thanks for watching. In the meantime, if you're so inclined, please like and subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about the next video. Thanks again and see you then. Bye!